Hey guys. This question of idle, what does it really hurt? What does it really do? High idle, don't high idle. A lot of my experience with diesels come from little pickups, diesels. But keep in mind, I do operate a big rig operation as well, 18-wheelers. And that's where I started with, is the 18-wheelers, and then I transitioned to hot shot. No, I didn't shut that operation down. I just added to the operation. So, from my basic mechanical understanding, what's the big deal with idle, and what are the things to look for? I believe I've made a video about this a couple years ago, but I've been asked quite a bit lately, so why don't I make another video? As always, these videos are to help each other, and you guys ask, I make a video. You guys watch, I make more videos. Simple as that. And you guys put in prayers to the Lord that Paul gets some free time to make videos. Yeah, you'll get some videos. Anyway, so high idle. The whole issue with idling a diesel. First thing I would consider is the temperature. Let's just talk about trucking. You got to park the truck for the night. Do you shut it down, or do you idle it? Do you let it idle on its own, or do you high idle it? It comes down to temperature. When it comes to my equipment, when we're starting to talk about teens, as far as Fahrenheit or lower, I want my trucks idle through the night, but I want them to consider the temperature. So if the vehicle can't maintain temperature, this is super important, guys. So if that piece of equipment can't maintain temperature, meaning, let's talk about my Kenworth. I own a 99 W900L with an N14, old school Kenworth, upgraded the intercooler, upgraded the radiator. Well, in the winter it struggles like any old diesel, it's straight pipe. It struggles like any old diesel to keep its heat, to maintain its heat, and to keep itself toasty. So just getting in that truck and high idling it isn't going to do the trick when you're starting to talk about single digits. Well, even in the teens, it's kind of questionable. Let's just say it's 9 degrees Fahrenheit outside, there's a little wind. That truck isn't going to stay warm. And my cutoff temp is 170, 165, and then if it works its way back up, that's fine. Just easy rule of thumb, 170. If the temperature, the coolant temp can't be maintained at 170, you have to do something about it. And it's simple as, blocking off the radiator. I'm not an advocate of completely blocking off that radiator. I'm talking about a good portion of the radiator, give or take about 75%. Go from the center so the sides are breathing. There's nothing scientific about it. It's a peace of mind that you got air here, and it's kind of working its way across. It just seems more proper, in my opinion. So, you got a radiator, like a grill on a hood. Shut down 75% of it. Watch your temp. In extreme case, you might have to shut off the whole flow. But me being 75-80% of the grill being shut off in these times usually does the trick. So, first things first, temperature. That's my biggest thing, because that's where the issue lies. So, oil travel. So, when the RPMs are low, the oil doesn't travel as far as it needs to travel. It doesn't make it up to the head. But more importantly, one thing people miss out is on the temperature. That's why I'm underlining coolant temp. That's how you wash out your cylinders. So when the combustion happens, it doesn't burn off, and then you have unburnt fuel accumulating in your oil, and things are going to crap. Next thing you know, well, I'm only at 5,000 miles. Well, your oil is junk. 5,000 miles didn't do the trick. You idling it when it's really cold outside is what did it. Washing out your cylinders. So 2 big enemies. Make sure temperature. You don't want to overheat your engine, but you also don't want to run your engine cool or cold. Second thing is high idle. 5th gens, meaning the 19s and up, are really sensitive. They tend to kick themselves in high idle a lot quicker than the 4th gens do. If you tune your trucks, ask your tuner to mess with those parameters. Get them to kick it in quicker. Not all tuners are created equal. I'll tell you, I'll leave it at that. But anyways, so coolant temp, nothing less than 170. Make sure your engine can chilly, 170, that's to expect. I don't like to see anything less than 170. And next thing is high idle. Just learn your equipment. If your equipment's really reluctant to high idle, I would high idle it. Nothing crazy, just enough to get that higher pressure to get more oil. It's a personal preference of mine. It's, I'll talk about this in another video. I owned a 95 Honda Prelude. Just bear with me. A 95 Honda Prelude. This is my teenage years. I restored the vehicle. Absolutely loved it. But its whole life, it was driven by a granny. And in my opinion, the oil rings were just filthy. And by running at high RPM, I was going through oil. A quart of oil, if I'm lucky, every fuel tank. Sometimes it was a quart and a bit, quarter of an oil wasn't enough. And I honestly thought it was either the the oil rings or my valve stem seals. But I did what I thought would needed to be done. And my buddy is chilling on his truck there. Before tearing into that engine, I just started driving at higher RPM. Not necessarily like redlining it, but like keeping it 3.5, 4 up to 7 range. Yes, 7,000. I gave it 8 sometimes when I was wrapping it out, but it took a little bit of time. And I hope no state troopers are listening to this one. I had to book it on I-90 one night just to complete my theory of oil pressure and oil flow. After that night, after pushing that Prelude for, I'd put about 15 miles of just hauling tail, high RPM. Those 15 miles were in the range of 6,000 to 8,000 RPM. With good clean oil. I was on my 3rd oil change ever since I bought that vehicle, and it had Rizlon cleaner. Guys, right now that Honda doesn't burn any oil. Any oil conservable. So for 3,000 miles, if you go from maximum to 3/4, don't even stress it. Not with the Doc VTEC and all that. So this goes to say, not only your cams, but everything needs that life. Everything. I'm talking about diesels now, not oil. A lot of guys will say, well, your cams aren't getting enough oil. There's a lot more than just cams. Some of these trucks, they're hydraulic lifters. You need that pressure. You need that oil pressure. You need to push your truck or your equipment. So what's a good number? A lot of guys want to say, 12 to 1,500 RPM. I don't think that's necessary. I'm not, 70 years old and I haven't driven a big rig my whole life. But from what I could gather, I like to see, 1,000 to 1,100. I say that's a simple, good number. You're not sitting there and wrapping out your engine on idle. Just the way I identify it, wrapping out. But you're not wrapping out 1,200 to 1,500. That 1,000 to 1,100 seems to do the trick for me, in my opinion. So if I could advise anyone anything, if you have to idle your truck, shoot for that 1,000 RPM. Watch your temps. If your truck can't sustain, keep itself 170 plus, go ahead and block off the radiator. I know newer trucks, they got shutters, which really surprised me, guys. I thought that system was going to be so problematic with ice and snow and debris and flies and rocks. I've never had an issue. I think we're right about, give or take, about 20 units in the 5th gen. No, I think we're more like 15 to 20 units in the 5th gens, meaning all those got shutters, and they've worked phenomenally. So don't be a skeptic like me when you see those shutters. Those shutters work very well. Even in my Escalade, there's shutters, and that's awesome. So the newer trucks, they got shutters and they work phenomenally, but the old ones, keep an eye on it. Guys, this is the best way I can explain it. I'm sharing my knowledge for free with you guys. Please share, like these videos. Like I said, I started making these videos because you guys are watching them. So help me by supporting me, and I'm giving you my word. I will keep producing these videos. Anyways, as always, may the Lord bless you. May you almighty fine day. Ciao. Oh, let me know if you guys want to see a video about this. I know this truck ain't no diesel, but you see that TRX on the hood? That ain't just a logo. She's the real deal. I'll give you a sneak peek. I wasn't lying to you. anyways, boys, behave as always. Let me know in the comment section if you guys want to see more, if you guys want to see a video on this truck. I know it's not a diesel, but it's a toy truck that I very much like.